Good morning, Mrs. Kakane. And,
Good morning, Chair.
good morning, Deputy Chief Dlamini.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Msegidi.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners.
I was saying I usually greet the lead.
Indeed so, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Mrs. Kakane.
Chair, Advocate Mzansi.
Oh.
Yes.
Nkosi, you can't blame me. Only on the 27th, of March, it was my birthday, so I'm a year older. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Chair.
Can I place it on record that it was
Not-
Commissioner Baloy's birthday yesterday? I won't mention the numbers, but
Mr. Msegidi, apologies. Okay, some
thank
news
you.
to Mr. Kakane, yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Mr. Msegidi.
Good morning again, Chair and the Commissioners. Chair, today we have Deputy Commissioner Umashi Samson Dlamini to testify from the Tmpd. Chair, if you could swear in the witness.
That's literally swearing as opposed to affirming.
Let me confirm if he's happy to.
Will you be swearing or affirming, Deputy Chief?
I'll swear, Commissioner.
Thank you. Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
I swear, Commissioner, that the evidence I'll be giving...
Just say, "So help me God."
Yes, I swear, Commissioner.
Please say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you.
Yes, Chair, perhaps I was a bit ahead of myself, a bit of housekeeping issues. Mr. Dlamini will be testifying today on his statement, and then after that, only then we'll start asking probing questions. Mr. Dlamini does have long-standing commitments, so we cannot sit for the entire day today. We have tried to see how long we can stay, but at best, Chairperson, we cannot sit later than 12 o'clock with your permission, of course. And then we'll have to call him again, where he'll be asked probing questions. For the purpose of today, we'll try and limit our questioning to a clarity-seeking question on his statement, and then hopefully we'll get through till 12 o'clock, and then he will come back, Chairperson.
Thank you. What I forgot, Deputy Chief, is to ask you to place your full names on record, please.
My full names are Umashi Samson Dlamini.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Msegidi.
Chair, on that aspect, I'm not sure. I'll be guided by Chair if and when it will be an opportune time to take a tea break, if at all. I'll be in the Chair's hands.
Perhaps 10:30,
I'll
and then sit from 10:45 until 12 midday.
That seems to be practical, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And lastly, Chair, Commissioner has submitted a statement which is in two parts, and Chair will see that from the layout of the statement, it's aligned with the questions that he received from the Commission, and we'll try and guide him through those questions as he answers as part of his statement. Commissioner Dlamini, can you then confirm that in front of you, you should have a file with your statement inside? If you open the very first page, it will say statement of Umashi Samson Dlamini. Can you confirm that?
Yes, I can confirm it.
Yes. And then if you flip over, you'll see it will say page 1, and then it will say page 2.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes, I can
That's
see
where
that.
the statement starts. And then if you go to page 15, so if you look on the top right, there is a red marking. If you go to page 15,
Yes.
perhaps move to 14 instead. So that will be the end of that statement. Do you confirm that this is your statement?
Yes, I confirm.
And do you stand by the contents thereof?
Yes, I stand by the content of the statement.
And lastly, on very page 2, if you go again in front of the statement, there is a signature there. Can you confirm that you are the deponent?
I confirm that it is
and-
my signature.
Thank you so much.
Statement.
Thank you then. Can you again then, Commissioner, for the record, for the purpose of this statement, put your full names on record and then start reading through from paragraph 1 of that statement, Commissioner.
I'm Umashi Samson Dlamini. Do hereby make an oath and say, I'm an adult male and Deputy Chief of Police in the City of Tshwane Metropolitan Municipality. I am responsible for the division, support and administration under the Metro Police Department. I think perhaps let me take the opportunity to just indicate some of the responsibilities that I'm responsible for under support and administration. I'll only touch on the pertinent points that might be relevant to the commission that have came out. The division, under the finance section has got a project management, that is contract management support, that supports other divisions in terms of ensuring that when they have contracts that they want to undertake with bid specifications, then after the bid specification, when the contract go to the BEC, the Chief of Police nominate people who sit at the BEC together with supply chain officials and other appointed people for the BEC. When the contract is awarded, we then prepare SLAs for those contracts. I'm raising this because it's pertinent. Because as an end user department, we must be able to ensure that there's an SLA in place to manage that contract. So we assisted them in ensuring that SLAs are put in place. Then it sends to the office of the chief, who then take it to group legal for confirming that the SLA complies with all the legal terms and so forth. Thereafter, it sends to the service providers, who also go through the SLA and confirm before signing in the SLA. I think I must also indicate that the city has further take this process further, that SLA currently they are being done electronically. They are being sent by legal department to group heads to ensure that they can sign them off. So that's one area, that project management, that we assist the divisions on. We assist them with procurement plans. Every year there should be procurement plans that we put forward to ensure that everything that it's done in the city, it's in line with the procurement plans. There are stage gates that you plan a project to say it's at this stage gate before it can be funded. There's no way they can fund a project that you won't be able to spend on. So these are critical aspects that I'm bringing in, because they also touch to another part of, accounts payable, where invoices gets paid and so forth. I won't touch the entire structure. On accounts payable, every financial year when it starts, we get the budget indication. What we do if we have contract, I'll give a practical example of a SAPO SLA that we have for posting of infringement notices, because ARTO has given South African Post Office that authority to ensure that our infringement notices get sent through. We have an SLA with SAPO that, so because we have a budget on OPEX, we must create the requisitions when the financial year starts, that we send through to supply chain management to create POs, because we don't know by then as to what will be the value of the invoice in July. So this becomes a blanket PO. So it debit against, that PO that we have created with supply chain. With contracts that we know to say these are the value of the contract, we create PO for the entire year. So that's the duty of accounts payable when it deals with that. We create requisitions, send them through to supply chain management to ensure that they create, purchase orders. Our budget is segmented on monthly quotas and so forth that we report on. So sometimes, let me say, for instance, we have a contract for animal care. You can't anticipate whether you'll have how many dogs that are sick and so forth. As a result, they render, veterinarians render the service, which is above, the amount perhaps that we have, because our budget is created on quotas and so forth. What we do, we increase the contract value so that we are able to process, those invoices that we have, with the view that we know that we'll have to balance the equation, because on a quarterly basis, or on issues of budget, to monitor the budget, the Group Financial Services has also developed memos that deals with each and every line item, to say there's watchman, there is this line item and so forth, where we report on deviations. Whether over expenditure or under expenditure, you need to give reasons and mitigations. How are you gonna mitigate those over expenditure? So we do assist the divisions in that regard in managing, those kind of things. Why I indicate this is, for instance, these two things need to be on the subsystem. The SLA must be loaded on the subsystem. The issue of the contract must be on the subsystem, the start date and the end date. So that when the divisions bring in invoices, that they have certified that work has been executed for processing purposes, we must be able to load that invoice so that supply chain will create a purchase order for that service. Then it comes back to the department for payment. In this instance, it comes to the director mass, who's the cost center owner, to ensure that, payment get released. So I'm just highlighting, because these are issues that, came out of the commission, these pertinent, matters that, have came out to say what are the responsibilities that I have. I'm also, I think, responsible also for issue of ensuring that on a quarterly basis, there are SDBIPs, service delivery budget and implementation plan report that we must develop. SDBIP report covers issues like your targets, your milestone, what you have achieved, because these are things that we are measured on. We set targets and milestone every year. So we must report on a quarterly basis. It also includes, the budget report. How much have we spent? Where are the shortcomings? If they are under performance or over expenditure, how is it gonna be mitigated in that regard? So it's covered in the SDBIP, report. So much as I indicated on the deviation report that the finance department has done, are also responsible for, ensuring that, HR related matters, issues of, recruitment and so forth. But that I'll outline is the director mass who deals with that. Issues of grievances within the department, because he was delegated to ensure that he attend to grievances on behalf of the chief of police. And yes, we monitor these things. I mean, for instance, the city has got a policy to say invoices shouldn't stay for more than 30 days because there was a tendency of invoices lying somewhere while, I mean, the people are punishing either service providers or either we are engaging them to say, I can process this invoice and so forth. So there's a 30-day strict period to ensure that invoices get, I mean, submitted, and they are being monitored through forums. There's what we call UIFW, unauthorized, irregular, fruitless expenditure meetings that are taking place, where we report on invoices, outstanding payment, and so forth. If, I mean, they need to be reported. There's also Circular 113 that deals with issues of audit and so forth. Also invoices form part of that, of outstanding invoices. So in a nutshell, I just wanted to outline some of these functions because I think it came out of the commission.
No, thank you so.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Dlamini. Just to wrap up that aspect before we go to the heart of it. I understand that currently you are on suspension.
Yes.
Something that we'll deal with later on. But what I need to understand, just your thought process, because what we came to understand is that you actually volunteered to be put on suspension. We will go to the reasons contained in your notice. Can you just give us an idea or the thought process as to why you volunteered to be put on suspension, which is quite unusual? Thank you.
Yes, I think when on the 16th, when Sergeant Nkosi was testifying, there were WhatsApp messages that came out of the communication between myself and him and the CFO that emerged out of the commission. Then the next day, I sat with the chief to say, since there are these allegations, what is the city doing in terms of them? Couldn't get a straight answer. Then the 20th, I felt I can't be sitting at work. Everyone will come and ask, what is happening? You find yourself explaining. You go to a meeting, everyone asks you. Then I felt it might be good for me to request to be placed on precautionary suspension, perhaps up until either I get an opportunity to address some of those, matters.
Okay, thank you. Can we then go to page 3?
Just out of curiosity, normally people ask to be placed on leave when they find themselves in that situation. How did you decide suspension instead of asking for leave?
The city doesn't have a policy for what we call special leave. Either you take leave or either, so I felt I can't deplete my leave days. I'll rather request, a suspension, Commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Dlamini. If we go to page 3, under the topic overview, you've given us a nice synopsis as to your responsibilities and duties. Can we then pick it up from paragraph 6 instead?
Okay.
Dealing with the nature and extent of your relationship with Sergeant Nkosi. That was the question posed to you. So would you read the question and then read your response there too?
Yes.
Thank you.
The nature and extent of my relationship with Sergeant Nkosi and when and how did it commence? I have known Sergeant Nkosi from the early 90s while he was still attending school at Ntokozweni Primary School in Soshanguve. We come from the same neighborhood in Soshanguve. In 1996, I became actively involved in managing the family business, which was when I started having close interaction with Sergeant Nkosi. Sergeant Nkosi used to frequent the business and he would volunteer to clean the vehicles, and he would sometimes receive stipend for his efforts. Our relationship has grown since. I regard him as a family friend to the extent that our families chose me to lead a delegation that was sent to negotiate his lobola, which culminated in marriage. As indicated, in paragraph 7 above, our relationship remained that of brother to a point where when he faces life challenges, he is comfortable to engage with me on personal level, including marital advice as and when he encounters challenges.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just to understand you then, you have known Sergeant Nkosi for at least 30 years, from what I can gather from that.
That's correct, Commissioner.
And then I see that you say you have become, or he has become, or both families have become quite acquainted.
That's correct.
Can I ask you, would that relationship extend to his other siblings, including Mr. Beki Nkosi?
I do engage with Fanny when they have family challenges, marriages. We do intervene with my wife to do counseling and so forth.
And this would include Beki as well?
Yes, that's correct.
Then let's move on to the next subtopic.
Explain the frequency or number of instances of my meetings and exchanges with Sergeant Nkosi and the purpose of such meetings or interaction. Also indicate whether I have discussed or informed Sergeant Nkosi of any matter relating to the City of Tshwane and Tshwane Metropolitan Police Department. If I have done so, to explain what the legitimate basis, if any, was for so doing. My communication with Sergeant Nkosi is frequent and flows naturally as it will be between the brothers. It is impossible to keep records of how many times we have engaged on any particular topic. Our discussion encompasses many aspects, not limited to a particular matter. The recent discussion, among others, were when he came to me and requested assistance in completing a tender document for his younger brother. I refused to assist Sergeant Nkosi, and instead I advised that helping him with the request will amount to a conflict of interest. I referred Sergeant Nkosi to Nico Matlala for assistance. I did so because Mr. Matlala is well vested with administrative matters.
And who exactly is Mr. Matlala?
Pardon, Commissioner?
Who exactly is Mr. Matlala?
Mr. Matlala, I knew Mr. Matlala when I was managing the family business. He used to assist us with, a document for buses and so forth, applications and so forth. He's not an employee of a city. He's someone from outside.
Thank you.
Commissioner, just to understand, we will get the dates as and when we look into your chats as to when this conversation happened. But for now, can you just confirm that this assistance of completing a tender document for his younger brother, will this relate to Ngapesheya Security Services?
That's correct.
Then we can move on.
If I have received any payment or benefit from Sergeant Nkosi, whether directly or indirectly, whether I have received payment from a third party through Sergeant Nkosi, I want to put it on record that I have never received any payments nor benefit from Sergeant Nkosi, whether directly or indirectly, nor received payments from a third party through him or anyone else. if I have met Sergeant Nkosi in the presence of Mr. Mpho Lekukela, if so, what was the purpose of such meetings? Did the meeting relate to the business of the city of Tshwane or the Tshwane Metropolitan Police Department? I have never met Sergeant Nkosi in the presence of Mr. Mpho Lekukela for any reason whatsoever.
But you will accept that you would know Mr. Lekukela.
Mr. Lekukela, I know him as he was an employee, I think, of the city. I've never had any relations with him.
That's precise, yes. Please continue, Commissioner.
Here, I think it was the
Commissioner,
matters.
maybe I should say this to you. In terms of this topic, in fact, please don't read to the record the topic there. It ought not to have been asked of you to comment on this. And for the record, I want you to skip paragraph 17 to 28 because it deals with issues that are not relevant, at least for the purpose of this commission. So please disregard that, and then we'll move to paragraph 29 instead. On the next page, page 6.
If I have ever met or interacted with Mr. Josie Banyoni, Mr. Vusi Matlala, and Mr. Manda Mngina, and to provide full details of the meetings, interactions, including details of those present at each and the location and the purpose of each such meetings. I have never met, interacted with Mr. Josie Banyoni, Mr. Vusi Matlala, and Mr. Manda Mngina for whatsoever reasons.
Do you know of them, though? Any of those individuals?
The one that I know, I've never met with him, it's Mr. Josie Banyoni. He used to work with my brother in the taxi industry when they were establishing Salta. They were together in the taxi industry. That's the only person that I know.
But you never met him?
I've never met with him or interacted with him.
And the other two gentlemen, apart from perhaps what we know from the media?
I don't know them.
Thank you.
Indicate whether I have any interest.
So just last question.
Yeah, sorry.
Because you did mention in the beginning about the business, and now you just mentioned again the taxi business. Are you still in the taxi business? Are you in the taxi business?
It's the family that is in the taxi business.
So
it's a family business.
Thank you. We can proceed.
Indicate whether I have any interest in or relationship with any of the following companies or close cooperation, whether directly or indirectly, or any other shareholders and directors. Kubis 85 Solution. I don't have any interest or relationship, whether directly or indirectly, with any of their shareholders or directors. Ngapesheya Construction and Project. I don't have any interest in the company directly or indirectly. However, I know Nkosi as a younger brother to Sergeant Nkosi. Triotic Protection Services. I don't have any interest in the company or relationship directly or indirectly. 2Corp Insecurity Services. I don't have any interest in the company or relationship directly or indirectly. Vimtsiri Security and Protection Services. I don't have any interest in the company or relationship directly or indirectly. El Shaddai Security Services. I don't have any interest in the company or relationship directly or indirectly. Any other bidder in risk.
Before you continue, I just want us to get some clarity on 3 companies. Let's start with Ngapesheya. Part of the question is that, do you have any relationship with their shareholders or directors? and perhaps extend to employees by virtue. Would you accept that for a moment that you do have at least a relationship with Ngapesheya through Nkosi, because you did consider him as at least close family member?
I think I indicated that I know him as a younger brother, but I don't have interest in the company directly or indirectly that perhaps I benefit financially, but I do know Nkosi.
Yes, no, we're not
Yes,
asking that. We're saying at least there is a relationship there.
Yes.
And if there was to be evidence that Sergeant Nkosi was doing some work for Ngapeshe, would you also accept that on that score, you would also have a relationship with someone who, if there is evidence, who also does some work for Ngapeshe?
Yes.
Thank you. And then the next company there, it's Triotic Protection Services. I think it's an open secret that it is somehow, or it was somehow linked to one Mr. Bonzo Mudise.
Yes.
I think his middle name is Eugene.
Yes.
And I want to take it further than that. The only question I want to ask you is that, do you have any relationship or interaction with Mr. Mudise?
It's only when we go to Mayco meetings that I'll meet him, but I don't have any relationship or interactions with him, Mr. Mudise.
Okay, thank you. And then the last company there would be, that I want us to discuss, would be the very last one, Al Shaddai Security Services. You have testified that you don't have any relationships.
Yes.
Would that extend to the employees of Al Shaddai?
Yes.
And for my employees?
Yes.
Okay. Then can we move to the next topic?
Before we move, can you just expand on 31.1, Commissioner? Good morning. Because all you say there is you have no interest in the company directly or indirectly. However, I know Nkosi as a younger brother of Sergeant Nkosi. So what does that have to do with Ngapesheya? Did you know that Mr. Nkosi is the owner or has interest in Ngapesheya?
Yes, Commissioner. Sergeant Nkosi approached me to assist him, as I indicated earlier on.
Assist with what?
With tender document.
For Ngapesheya?
Yes.
And he told you that it's his brother's company?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Kumalo. Commissioner Dlamini, we can then move on, pick it up from the very last topic on page 8.
Okay. Any other bidder in respect of tender Tmpd 02 2016-17, Tmpd 01 24-25, and Tmpd 03 24-25. I don't have any interest or relationship, whether directly or indirectly, with any other bidder in respect of tender Tmpd 02 26-17, Tmpd 1 24-25, and Tmpd 3 24-25.
Okay, please move on.
In relation to the above, to provide full details of the following: whether I have had any interaction with the shareholders, members or directors of Gubi's 85 Solution, Ptd, and any other bidder. If so, provide details including the names of such person, the dates, place and purpose of such meetings or interactions. The interactions I had with director of Gubi's 85 was when Mr. Kane Mpofu of Supply Chain Management invited me to a meeting at his office. However, I cannot recall the date of the meeting, but it was around March 2025. The meeting was attended between Mr. Mahlangu and Mr. Kwadi of Gubi's 85 Solution and Mr. Mpofu and myself. The meeting was called because Mr. Mahlangu raised concern with outstanding payments relating to his company.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just to clarify, this meeting, you were invited by Mr. Kane Mbofu,
That's correct.
and then your answer to the question is that you've never set up or had any contact with anyone from Gubis to set up a meeting.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Deputy Commissioner, we've come to know that there's a difference between services that were the regular services that were provided and ad hoc services,
Yes.
all arising from the same tender contract.
Yes.
This meeting and issues about payment,
Yes.
what did it relate to, the delayed payments? Was it ad hoc services or the regular contract services?
It was on ad hoc services, Commissioner, that we attended on March. I think it will be explained later on. They were owed for a period of 6 months, starting from July 2024 up to December 2024, when that complaint came. And I think there was an outstanding invoice that was of a previous financial year for May. So this meeting was all about it, to say how are they gonna get paid that invoice that is outstanding for the month of May, which was never paid to them.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr.
Commissioner,
Secretary.
documents relating to that specific meeting, do you have them?
I don't have document relating to that specific meeting, Commissioner.
I will tell you how it will assist. The witness we had yesterday also spoke about outstanding invoices from 2024. But we are still not clear who had requested those services from Gubis. So perhaps if we could get those documents relating to 2024 ad hoc services and invoices,
Okay.
it will assist us. So if you can please search for them. If they are not there, they are not there. But if you are able to find them, can you please make them available to the commission?
They will be there, Commissioner, because we load them on a subsystem. I'll request that we get them. I only have a spreadsheet of the payment of companies that were owed starting from July 2024 to December.
Yeah, only this one. And what we are looking for is the letter requesting Gubis to provide the ad hoc services in 2024.
The letter we didn't have because it's not within my environment to deploy them.
Yes.
What we do, we process invoice as received from a division that has verified that services were rendered accordingly signed off by that division.
So all those documents, if you have them or you are able to find them.
Yes,
They are not there. They are not there. It's fine.
the invoices are there.
Commissioner, then just to wrap up this point. So the upshot of it is that you were invited to this meeting to deal with issues relating to late payments or non-payments of Gubis invoices.
Yes.
Just tell us, what was the outcome of that meeting? Just briefly.
The outcome of that meeting, I indicated to them to say the May invoice, there's no way in which it can be processed from my section. It's of a previous financial year. The division concerned need to put in a report for post facto in order for that invoice to be paid, which must be approved by the city manager. Which goes with consequence management, because, it's of a previous financial year. It will create audit issues, for the city. So that's what I indicated to them. And I also indicated to them to say, initially when they started issues of, raising concerns around payments and so forth, I advised Mr. Mpofu to say, these were taken with the CFO, and it might not be proper for us at that level as junior officials to the CFO to engage on these matters. So I then advised that they must then take these matters up with the CFO where they've started.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next topic.
Giving details whether I have assisted directly or indirectly any bidder in respect of tenders TMPD 2 2016-17, TMPD 1 24-25, and TMPD 3 24-25. I have not assisted directly or indirectly any bidder in respect of tender TMPD 2 2016-17, TMPD 1 24-25, and TMPD 3 24-25.
Yeah, move on.
Whether I have influenced, facilitated the payment of any service provider, in particular Gubis 85 Solution Ltd. I have not influenced the payment of any company, including Gubis 85. I attach herein the source of the complaint, which is reflected in the trail of emails from February 25, marked as Annexure F. My involvement in the case of Gubis 85 Solution and others came later following the request by the CFO concerning the outstanding invoices, which were due for a period of 6 months. See Annexure G, the spreadsheet of those invoices. Furthermore, I should indicate that prior to the receipt of the request by the CFO, I dealt with another request which came on the 28th February 25 from various service providers. See attached WhatsApp communication from the management group marked as Annexure H.
Commissioner, before we go to the next page, you had made reference to 3 documents, Annexure F, G, and H. Can we start with Annexure F? You will see that it says, it's on page 145. It will say Annexure F, email of outstanding invoices. Is this the annexure you're referring the commission to? Which starts on page 146?
Yes.
Is there anything on that annexure that maybe, without reading the entire document, that you would like to highlight to the commission?
Yes, I want to indicate that this is the complaint that I think came through. I think the annexures might have been put. Otherwise, I'm not sure if it's the correct annexure, because the annexure that dealt with this matter emanate as far as February the 7th. I'm not sure on my file where the company was complaining, and in any of their complaint, I think I was not, included nor CC'd in any of the complaint that they've been raising and so forth. So I think the annexures might,
Perhaps let's do this. I have gone through your statement. I know you make reference to the email of the 7th of February, but I have not seen it. The email there that's referred to on Annexure F, it's an email that was sent in March. So what we can do, Commissioner, perhaps what we can do is that annexure is not here. Perhaps when you come back, let's put a note so that you can bring that email, because the reference there is a different conversation on a different date. Do you accept that at least?
I accept. I
Then we
have
can
it
fix
in my file. It might have been.
Yes, no, I've also looked for it. I could not locate it.
Yes.
And then there's Annexure G that appears on page 149. And it will say outstanding invoices, list of companies. I don't invite you to read those companies, but is there anything specific that you want to draw the Commission's attention to on that list? It's a very long list.
Yes, the specific thing is that these are invoices that were outstanding from July 2024, to January 2025 of companies. I want to draw specific attention to the Commission because this matter came on the Commission. That invoices for the entire 6 months were amounting to a total of these companies to 14 million for the entire 6 months of ad hoc services that the complaint came. And I think this is what I want to draw the attention of the Commission to, so that when we come to the email where I was writing, sensitizing them to say, but these invoices for February and March have now grown to an extent that now the company must be paid 14 million. Deal with this matter or engage the sister department. It was taken that I was influencing someone to go and seek money and all those kind of things. But I was just trying to indicate to say, my division gave me the spreadsheet to say invoices for July to December. This is the spreadsheet as and when they were processed. Then January, February, March comes invoices for January and February with a total change figure of one invoice, amounting to 14 million. It is within my responsibilities to alert them to say, this has grown so much, investigate this, deal with this matter.
Perhaps just for clarity, can you just reconcile this for me? On page 150, right on top, it says recon for Watchman Services, Water and Sanitation. And then it gives the dates. And then after that, it says Asset Protection Unit, Tmpd, and then it says January Security Service ad hoc. So the document on 150 mentions both Watchman Services and ad hoc. Can you just reconcile that for us?
Yes, these were ad hoc services that were deployed by the Division Assets and Protection for 3 companies: Triotic Protection Services, Mohalahadi Security Services, which for 2 companies it amounted to
yes, so
2.8.
What I just need clarity on, Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner.
Yes.
The clarity I need is on top when it mentions Watchman Services. So we should take this is strictly for ad hoc. Is
Yes.
that what you're conveying to us?
Yes, it's
That's all
strictly
I
for
need.
ad hoc.
Okay, then
Yes.
I'll note that. All right. Can we then go to the last annexure that we make reference to at page 42? That one appears on page 152.
Yes.
Now, this is annexure H. It says management group WhatsApp communication, non-payment of service providers. And it goes on, the actual content is on page 153. Is there anything that you need to highlight on those WhatsApp chats? And while doing that, can you just explain what is the EMM information group?
The EMM is an executive management group that we have for the chief of police and his deputy chief. So I'm saying I was just demonstrating to say I do receive such complaint. That was not a peculiar complaint that I received to deal with those outstanding invoices for July to December. There was a complaint prior to me receiving that request from the CFO that came, to the chief and asked to say these companies were not paid. Can they be attended to? So it's not, because as I indicated earlier on the structure, to say they don't come to me, they go, when invoices come, they go to accounts payable. That's where we have admins, senior admins, and so forth. They have a functional head, a deputy director who deals with them. I wouldn't be aware if they were outstanding invoices up until of recent, where the city have established the UIFW work stream meetings and the circular 113, where these things get reported, where I attend to.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can you then go back to your statement? I want you to pick it up from when you look at the top red number, the top right, with the red number. It will be page 9.
Yes.
Before you do that, in that page 8, at paragraph 41 and 42, where you refer to requests from the Chief Financial Officer.
Yes.
Those requests were directed to you.
The Chief Financial Officer called me while he was with Sergeant Nkosi on the 4th of March, requesting me to say there are outstanding invoices that Mr. Mpofu can't get it right in ensuring that they are being paid, and the companies are threatening to go to court.
Okay.
Can I intervene and assist in that regard?
Okay, so it was a telephone call between you and the Chief Financial Officer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Maloi. Can you then, so we'll deal with those chats later on. Can we then go to the next page? Then that will be page 9.
Okay. I just want to indicate that it is a common practice that such matters will be brought to my office for intervention and not, to influence payment or whatsoever in that regard. I wish to refute the impression which is created that I am involved in the business of influencing or facilitating payment. The statement is not true, and I say this because I am the divisional head, support and administration. I think I've explained around accounts payable, what are their functions and so forth. And it enjoins us to comply with strict time limit and to pay invoices within 30 days of the invoice date. That's what my communication on financial matters is mistakenly inferred to as having an influence, when in actual fact it is sacrosanct to my daily work as the Deputy Chief Support and Administration. It cannot be said that I am influencing anyone when my position and my work is centered around managing the financial business side of the department. I attach here on the organogram and demonstrate that I am the relevant and competent person who holds the office that address the finances as alluded in Annex D organogram.
Deputy Commissioner, you make reference to that Annex I. Do you want to say anything about that Tmpd organogram, or can we pass?
We can
appears
pass
on 155.
We can pass, Commissioner. I think I've indicated the most pertinent matters around finance, accounts payable, the contract management, and so forth, so that when we come to those things, I can explain them.
Okay, maybe then before you move on, Commissioner, the very first sentence on paragraph 43, would it not be correct, though, to say that you are involved in the business of facilitating payments in one way or the other as part of your duties?
I am involved, Commissioner, but I'm not influencing this person. I only come as an intervention when there are complaints that are raised through to my office.
So at least on that sentence, can we then divorce influencing and keep facilitating? Are you happy with that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I just to clarify my confusion? So you say you get involved because the CFO calls you.
Yes.
About this, and that's how you become involved.
Yes.
Can you then just explain the annexures, how then they come into the picture? The annexures in 146, I think that's annexure F, and then you've given us G, you've also given us H. How that relates, if at all, to the CFO calling you to assist with payments? Because the way that I had read it was that your annexures F, G, H are what comes out of the CFO's request to you to assist him. And that is evidence of it, those annexures. So if you can just explain them, because it doesn't seem like they're in any way related.
Okay, cool. On Annexure, Commissioner, on Annexure G, it was the spreadsheet of all the outstanding invoices for starting July 24 up until December. I was just attaching them to say this is the request that emanated from the request from the monies that were owed from the CFO for those companies for a period of 6 months. Yes. And on the Annexure H, I was just demonstrating to say these are the requests, they do come. It's not something, out of the equation that I've done when I was helping with the payment when the CFO, said the companies were not paid. I was just demonstrating with the communication from the management WhatsApp group on Annexure G.
Okay, so Annexure G has nothing to do with the CFO's
No, it has got nothing to do with the CFO. I was just emphasizing to say, as the divisional head, I do get this request to intervene if payments were not done or companies are complaining.
Okay, and what about Annexure F? What is Annexure?
The Annexure F, as the evidence leader indicated, it was a trail of email that I wanted to demonstrate that this complaint came from February. I was never included on the emails. There were people who were included in those emails, I think, who are within the department and never acted on that. I just wanted to demonstrate to say, I only became aware when I was called by the CFO to say there are outstanding invoices within the department.
Okay. So, but they have nothing to do with the call from the CFO?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Perhaps just to seek further clarity, remember you had testified earlier on that when you met with Khwadi, Mahlangu, and Mbofu, and they raised the issues of non-payments.
Yes.
You then ultimately referred them to the CFO's office.
Yes.
To deal with this.
Yes.
Then is it your evidence that later on then the CFO reverted to you with the same problem to say you must deal with it? I'm just trying to understand the chain of events. So remember that this meeting with the tree was in March.
Yes.
So the requests from the CFO, when would those have been?
It came before the request of the meeting. After we have resolved their payment for 6 months, they then later on requested a meeting to deal with the outstanding invoices for May that I indicated to say it will amount to a post-facto thing.
Okay. I think we have to then move to paragraph 45 on page 9.
Whether I have influenced or directed the allocation of work by the City of Tshwane or the Tshwane Metro Police Department to any of the service providers, including that to Gubi's 85 solution. My subordinate section in the Support and Administration Division include Administration Bureau, Policing Logistics Support, Internal Affairs, Management Administration Support, and Ceremonial and Employee Wellness. As I attach there, the security falls under Deputy Chief Assets Protection and Security Services. The deployment of security guards to various sites, is the responsibility of the deputy chief concerned. I could have not influenced or directed the allocation of work to any service provider. Otherwise, the statement suggests that I had swayed the deputy chief APS or his subordinates to bend the rules, and I deny the narrative is incorrect.
Deputy Chief,
Yes.
it seems to me that you are answering this question on the assumption that everything would have been happening the way it should. I think the subtext of what's being addressed here or asked here is, or rather concerns impropriety. So can you answer the question in the context of that? Because somebody acting improperly would exactly have wanted to do things in a manner that would not come to the attention of, for example, in this instance, the Deputy Chief APSS.
Thanks,
Now, you are talking as if everything was going the way it should. Maybe it was, but the subtext is that it was not. So can you answer the question in that context?
Thanks, Commissioner. It does happen, as I'm saying. There's no way I will give an instruction to someone who's not my subordinate to do anything. For instance, yes, there were things that protecting Piri, will deal with that. I've never worked with Piri. I don't know him. Which intake does he belongs to? I can't, even if I could have met him, I couldn't point to say this is Piri or whatsoever the case it might be. Things, commissioners, are happening as per structure in terms of, deployment and so forth. Yes, there are anomalies that happened, but I have never influenced, the deployment of any other, security company or any other person within the department.
Thank you. Let's take the adjournment and resume at 5 to 11. Let's adjourn.